Good morning, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Good
Morning.
morning. How is everyone?
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Alice. It's good to
Good
have you.
morning, Jane. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Good, good, good. Nice, lovely,
Really,
great.
though.
Right, it's been a hectic 2 weeks for me, but everything under control. No worries. How's everyone? How's everyone? Let me know how you been doing. Are you doing okay? Let me know in the chat. Today we're gonna do some trading. I'm gonna give you a little bit what I see, how I target things. Let me talk about the token, and I'm doing a small introduction, so we're going to give some time for the rest of the people to come in. Right, okay, this is SEI, SEI, right, SEI, and I'm on the perpetual market. So let me go into high time frame. So let's do top-down analysis, right? Shall we? As we always do. So here we are. It's quite decent, price action, strong moving, has nice solid moves, candles. This is the daily, right? So it was going all the way up for a long time since December this year, right? So remember, after the alt moved, that was after November. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are, right? Good afternoon. I see you're in Singapore, so it's getting early evening. So I mark the direction. It was an uptrend for a very long time. So we have a swing high. So far, that supposed to be, it used to be a weak high, right? Because it was an uptrend. So all the way up to here, it was when things getting more interested that it could not break the previous high. So from this point, like let's say the 17th of January, that become as a strong high, right? That's why I call it swing high, because after that, it broke the uptrend, right? So when we get a reversal and you get price action moving away from this high area, then you can say that it's a swing high, or you can say that it's a strong high. All right, so this is swing high, this is a swing low. It start to move to the up, right? It's breaking that trend, coming down. So this is a swing high. The swing low so far, that's not it yet, right? We cannot mark these as a swing low. Why is that? Because it hasn't reversed yet, right? And why is that? Because this is your last high. This is your new low. So this is a lower high. So if it doesn't print a low low, right, and it comes as a higher low, and then it needs to break that previous high, right, and giving a higher high, then this low, you may mark it, because if it's reversing, you can't mark it as a swing low, right? So anyway, say it's been retracing and found a new bounce area, and if I extend that to the left, you can see that it found another supported resistance area, right? Well, we always see that tokens bounce in a common support and resistance area. So that was a resistance, came down, went above, broke the resistance, and acted as a support twice, right? And then since then it left. It came back again. So that acted as a support, right? So let's zoom in a little bit. Let's go closer into time. So let's go down into 1 hour. It's fine. We get more price action. So we zoomed in a little bit, right? So that was the previous highs, got broken, came down, and then it bounced from this level. And after that, it got a reversal, right? That was the last high before the pivot point, right? So we're doing a small recap now of how we do the TA, what things we we are looking at, and how we do the the analysis. So that was, you know, a constant low, high, low, low, right, up to this point, and then it gave us a new high, right? And it's trying to give us a high high. It did not manage to break at once the structure, but hours later, it got broken here with the body, right? So, you know, when you're looking for reversals, you want to break the structure with a body, right? Not with the wicks. So if I zoom in a little bit, so it can be more clear to you, right? So the point that we got, let's say a strong sign that we may look for reversal is this body, right? So here's the pivot point, right? That was the last high on its way down. It turned around from here, right? So I'm not targeting this high, I'm targeting this high, the one that happened before the reversal, right? That one here. So that's the high that I'm looking for. So that high got broken here on this body. So this is the first sign of maybe they're going to have reversal. It came down, continued to go higher, higher. So technically we get the ABC away from that area, right? So it goes A, B, C, and then it continues even further, right? Like another extra leg, like a D. And then it comes back in a nice, polite manner into this area, right? And if I do very quickly about order blocks, a lot of people love order blocks. Here we are, here we go, the order block, right? And the gap between the first candle with the third candle is our fair value gap, right? And you can see that the price action came back into the fair value gap, right? So this is, you know, I combine everything. When I see price action, I put all the strategies that I know, because I need a conviction, right? I want to make sure that I don't jump into conclusions. So technically this is an order block. So let me mark that as an order block. Where's my templates? No templates here? Okay. Somehow I've lost a template here. So right click, no template. Okay, what about that one? All right. Let me reset TradingView because I'm supposed to get my templates. Oh, all right. Okay, my mistake. I am not in TradingView. I am in the exchange from BitGet. That's why we don't have template. So yeah, okay. So first box, the green one, it's the order block, and the second box, the yellow one, it's the fair value gap, right? So it touched the fair value gap. This is a big difference between crypto and Forex. Remember that I said that we got different conditions, right? In Forex, they target halfway of the box. Let me see if I get inside the style. No, I don't have the middle point. Okay, it's the free version that the exchange have. So around here is the 50% of the fair value gap, right? In Forex, they target the 50%, right? They don't enter. They expect that the price action is going to come back inside the 50% of the fair value gap. In crypto, however, that doesn't happen, right? Not very often. It's quite rare. Forex is it's a condition that they need to wait for the 50%, right? At least, they say, at least 50%. In crypto, we say it's touch and go. Since you touch that fair value gap, you should take action. And here's a great example, right? So it got bounced from here, and then created a new order block and pushed to the up. And why do I know this is a new order block? Right, that is because it broke the structure again. So after these points, now I got a trend line, right? My new support trend line. So that was my first reversal point, multiple touches here, and further up in time, we've got other areas that we touch that area. So I know this is a support. This is a key major, the yellow one is a key major support resistance, right? It's a level that is acted as a support and resistance. So I like to mark this, right? So this is my local low, this is my local high, the latest high that we have. So we are approaching support. Yesterday, last night, I took that trade from here to there, right? A very small trade. What I did, I was looking on the 3 time frames. I'm using 3 time frames for my strategy, which is like maybe I'm watching the high time frame like the 1 hour, then the second time frame is going to be the 15, and then the third time frame is going to be the 3 minutes. What I'm looking for the alignments of the indicators. The indicators I'm using is stochastic RSI and RSI and ASO. Most of you here, you do know these indicators. I've spoken to Carl, and I'm waiting for, so to say, to get kind of an approval from Crypto Banter, not from Carl, but above, that I can promote a little bit of that kind of strategy, right? They need to check it, and they need to make sure that, you know, what I give out is legit, right? And I follow the guidelines. So we need to wait a little bit, right, to get the official okay. But so far, it's looking good. So let me enable my history, order history, right? And you see all these red and green arrows is my orders, right? So what I did, I'm going to do a very brief explanation. I was buying here and I was selling up there, right? And then I turned the other way around. So I was selling there to get exit down here, the same thing, and I was like riding the waves, right? I'm not trying to scalp as such, somewhere in between. I'm trying to catch as high as possible and get out as low as possible, right? And let me zoom in a little bit on, let's say maybe on the 15-minute, and you can see the last trades that I took, right? That was another entry from down, right? I was short. I had some more extra cash, so I said I'm going to add it on this way down, right? And then this is the exit that I took because I knew that was approaching the support, so that was my exit strategies over there. Let me clear the noise here. Let me clear that. Let me clear that one there. And last night I took that entry here, right on the support, and I got out with take profit because it was quite late. It was like that happened around 4:45 this morning. So I put the stop loss around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. I was babysitting that. I was monitoring. I saw some weakness up there with the help of the indicators. Right. So here's the indicators. I was approaching the support, right, and it was turning around, and around this time here I was getting the weakness anyway, so I put a take profit limit order, and it got triggered around 4:45 this morning, my local time. So yeah, I took my profit. So I woke up this morning and I was out of the trade, but I was, you know, in profit, so not bad about that one. So now let me bring the other screen that I have from TradingView. Let me bring that here, and this is my setup, so to say, right? This is what the time frames I'm using. This is the 1 hour on the far left, 15 in the middle, and right on the right is the 3 minutes. So what I usually do, I want to make sure why do I look at the 1 hour? Because I want to make sure that I'm monitoring these areas, and I'm looking in which direction is the general trend. So I know that, say, in general it's an uptrend, right? It's an uptrend. This is a low, high low, high low, high low, high low, right? So it's an uptrend. So I need to remind myself that I'm looking for, greater trades are going to be the ones that are going to be for longs, right? Uptrends. So I need to pay attention when the indicators, right? The stochastic RSI is the extreme oversold at the very bottom. I would like to see when RSI is reversing, right? So I got my local low of the RSI reversing, and the third indicator is the ASO, that I need to know when the bottom is in place from that kind of period of that price action. So when I get all these three, right, this is very low, this is a reversal, and this is a reversal, that's the area that I'm interested. Also, don't forget that I had a trend line. So let me put that trend line up there. So I had multiple indications that, you know, I got price action hitting my support. I had my stochastic RSI on the larger time frame on the 1 hour, telling me that we hit the bottom, and so does the RSI, so does the ASO. So okay, this is big chunks now. Every single candle here, it's a single hour. So I need to zoom in and try to scope whereabouts I am in this area. So if I put my cursor here, you can see that the middle window is indicating me that this is the area that I'm interested. So let me put a box here. So that's the area that I'm interested. So let me get rid of the extension. So let me go to settings, remove the extension, please. Here we are. So that's the area that I'm looking for. That is exactly on the trend line, right? I hope you can see that. So if I'm looking for longs, as for the trend line of the 1 hour, I need to make sure that I look for the same marks, so to say, the same triggers, right? Low, and let me get rid of that a bit higher over there. So I need to see that ASO is telling me that, you know, this is like getting into the bottom. So we've got a W formation as well, right? So if I look to the left, what do we have? Common grounds, we've got common support. Never mind that we have diagonal support resistance, also we got horizontals, and also, you know, make sure that you pay attention, give more gravity into the horizontals, right? So you cannot break that horizontal level. So I said, okay, I had multiple indications that, you know, the little waves that we have within the 15-minute candle is approaching the lowest RSIs. ASO is telling me this is the local bottom. Okay, I need now to pinpoint down into the business. I say, okay, where is that area? So let me zoom out a little bit, and you can see that this area here in the green, you can see on the right window, we are talking about this area here, right? So this is what you see on the 1 hour. This is what you see on the 50-minute, and now you are fully zoomed in, like you're using a microscope, and you're zooming into the price action to see what's going on. All these 3 circles are the same area, right? Different time frame, different resolution. That's the only difference. And why is that? Because if I'm targeting the intra-day trading, which means I need to trade today for the next couple hours, right? I come down all the way down to 3 minutes, even on 1 minute. I'm going to show you that on the exchange. So I need to make sure that the big boy here, the big time frame is telling me, you know, you're hitting the major support, so there's a good chance that you're going up. Okay, I have a higher time frame conviction. Zoom in a little bit and see what's going on with the 15-minute, and then I need to see what's going on the 3 minute. And now on the 3 minute, it gave me, right, a very nice signal on the same conditions that I need to watch out for. So that was the area that I got stochastic RSI on the very bottom, extreme oversold, RSI very low, almost 2023. So it was a reversal point, and also ASO telling me this is the bottom. Why? Because it's reversing. So that was the entry, that was the signal for me to enter. So that was around 20 to 1 last night after midnight, right? 40 minutes after midnight. And what's the target? Well, you know, the exit, all right? It's very simple what I do, because this is a 3 minute time frame, and I'm going to show you on the exchange and 1 minute time frame as well. So what I usually do, guys, is I put a trend line. So let me put it thicker, make it yellow, a bit brighter, and here it is. So what I usually do is I need to see, right, a break of the trend line, right? So if I get my trend line broken, that will be the time for me to exit and have a look, you know, what's going on with the RSI around this area. So we got a third attempt. So that was the first attempt, that was the second attempt, that was the third attempt, and then losing that high. Also the RSI was reversing, right? Also the ASO is telling you this is a top on the 3 minute. right? But the easiest way for you to exit is when your trend line it gets broken, it gets violated. When your trend line it gets broken, it's telling you that it's time for you to exit that trend line. It looks that it's gonna fail. And also, what other indicators you have? You got a double top, right? You can see that it's going every top. It's way ahead from the previous one, but those two very close to each other, right? You can see that the candles are building. The size of the candles are giving you indication of momentum, right? There is some volatility going on, so you see big candles, big rejections, right? Reactions to the up and down, and then you see these two huge wicks, and also these highs are very close to each other. Comparing to the others, right? Look how far they are from each other, and this how close they are. So you get an indication that maybe this is a weakening. It's getting weaker. If you look to the left, right, what can you see? That makes sense. I say, oh, you know what? That must be an order block there. So what happens? It's going to react to that order block, right? So you're going to find some rejection. So you're not going to wait. This is not a long-term or mid-term trade. This is intraday. That means you're going to stay in for a couple hours. Let me measure that. So that started here and finished around there. So that was around 2 hours and 18 minutes, right? So you don't play games. You only want to get in and out for 2 hours and grab the percentage. What was the percentage? Around 3%, right? Give or take. Bodies to bodies after the break. You see, I didn't put the the box, the measurement. I did not put all the way high. I just put it here where it got broken. So that gave you a 3.3%, right? So if you do that at 10x, right, that is above 30%, which is not bad for 2 hours to do a 30%, because the strategy that I use is in the 3 minute, I use a 10x, right? If I go to a higher time frame, like 1 hour, I have a smaller leverage, right? Because I want to make sure that I stay longer into the trade, and it's midterm mentality. So it's more closer to the spot. So I'm minimizing my risk. So I'm using a lower leverage. But when I'm doing a very small time frame, and I know that my time in that wave, right, is going to be limited. It is not scalping, right? Don't get confused. It is not scalping, because scalpers, what they do, they're trying to grab from here to there, right? Since you're going to see a rejection, they get out. What I like to do is I like to get the fractal swings, right? So I want to go all the way up to there, and then when it's going to come down as a swing, right? So that was your high, this is your low, and then it's doing a retracement, and then it's going for a new swing. I'll rather, that's my target. I would like to get the full wave. And for say, which is a good mover lately, right, is doing nice percentage moves like 3%, 1%, 2% on the 3 minute time frame. That's going to give you on the 10x like 30%, 20%, 15%, like 40%. It's quite solid, right? And if you stay strict to the conditions, like I'll pull in a trend line, and as soon as you break it, I'm out, and then I'm looking for a new opportunity. Which what happens? You come back to the 15, right? You come back to the 15, and what do you wait? You wait and see where you have a solid waves, solid horizontals, and then you're looking for the indicators, and and see where is a good time for you to enter. Like for this example, a couple minutes ago, around 10 o'clock, 10-ish, it gave you a nice signal on the 15, right? It's telling you that must be, it can't be a nice opportunity for you to go for long. Well, how far? Maybe up to here, right? And, what's the percentage from down there to there? I mean, let's measure that from here. So they say average to that order block over there, that is another 2%. Right, another 2%. If you do that at 10x, that's another 20%. Right. So, and then within the day, you can have 2-3 trades like these, and then you you're gathering your points, right? You're gathering your percentage. One trade can give you 30%, another one trade will give you another 20%, another trade will give you another 10%. All three of them, you're going to have like 50-60% profit as percentage. If you're compounding, it's more, right? Because your first position is smaller, the second position is larger because you compounded with your profits, and your third position is even larger. So even with a smaller percentage, like let's say the first one was 30%, the second one was 20%, and the last one was 10%, right? But in the amount of dollars, all these three could be equal, right, as an amount. So this is how I approach. I have this screen always on my left, right? So I'm watching the 1 hour, the 15, and the 3 minutes. And then in the center, what I have, so let me put that back there. In the center, what I have, I've got the 1 minute, right? I've been scared now, but I have the 1 minute. And why is that? Because I know that my time in that trade is very limited, right? And you can see where on the 1 minute, where was my entry, right under the support. I knew that, I trusted that it's going to, respect that support, right? I see a huge wick there on the 1 minute, and I said, okay. As I said, it was a pressure, buying pressure there. So that selling will not last any longer. So it came back. So I took that. Remember when I usually say target the stop losses, right? So there was a lot of stop losses down in here, right? If anyone entered here for long, where are the stop losses down here? So what happened with that wick? That went all the way down here because everyone was trying to get into that support, right? And they put the stop losses below where it will be below the previous lows, right? So this area here was a small liquidity, right? So there's a lot of stop losses there. So I was waiting for that, market to go all the way down here, the price to get down to the stop losses, to do the stop loss hand. And I was waiting, where it's going to bounce. So since I see that bounce, let me zoom in a little bit so you can see where the arrow is. So this is what I was waiting for. I said, okay, it's going to go down. Let's see how far it goes. Goes really deep. Then I see a huge wick. I said, okay, there's a lot of buying pressure. Then I got blue, second blue, third blue. I said, okay, that's it. We're going back to my support, right? So it's respecting the support. It's going to go above. And that is when I took my entry, right? As close as possible to the support after the stop loss hand. And I know that if I enter after a stop loss hand, I'm going to be not undetected, but the market already made the hand, and when they finish, I enter after them, right? So I'm not bothering them, right? So they're not bothered for my with my entry. And then this is where I took the exit automatically on the limit order, right? Okay, so here's the 1 minute. Let me bring the indicators. Unfortunately, the exchange do not have the ASO, but don't you worry, you have TradingView. So you can have the 1 minute chart on the TradingView, which I have on the third window. Here's my third window. Here's A, and here's my 1 minute. Here it is. So here's my 1 minute on TradingView. So I can have a sneak peek and see, okay, on the 1 hour, I do know that I approach the support line, right? And also I'm looking for longs, as long as that Bitcoin it behaves, which it does today. So I'm looking for long opportunities, right? Don't worry about that one. We're going to find another one, right? Don't follow in. No, don't chase the waves. We're going to have multiple waves. Look at that. We keep on printing multiple waves on the 1 minute. Right, so look the strategy, right? Price action as low as possible, SRSI as low as possible, RSI as low as possible. Let me remove that here. And here's the ASO at the very bottom, right? So I have that screen as well on my right, and have a look on the 1 minute. So I'm watching the 1 minute, and then I pay attention on my exchange, because I don't go back and forwards from TradingView to my exchange, right? I'm using the 1 minute on the exchange. I'm watching my TradingView on my other screens, and when I see the signal, right, what I usually do, and I'll explain to you my method. What I usually do, let's pretend this is the top now, right? This is the top of the wave. Look at that. RSI is the very top. Stochastic RSI is the very top. Most likely, right, it's going to go down. ASO is telling me that there is a little bit more room to the upside. Look at that, right? ASO is going to save you multiple times, right? It's going to save you from entering prematurely into the market. So let's do now the opposite, right? Just one example. I'm going to clear that mark later, no worries. So look at that, huge wick up there. So I know that it's reacting to that order block to the left. So it makes sense, right? I'm not scared. I don't have FOMO. I don't have fear. What do I see? A cross down. Okay, what do I see here? I see that stochastic RSI is the highest and this is the lowest, right? Downtrend. Okay, good. Price action goes higher. What do we know about this? What do you know when stochastic RSI is giving you low highs, but the price action is giving you high? Divergence, right? So what does it mean? It's a bearish divergence, right? So that is going to fail, right? It will follow the indicator. What do I see on this the RSI, the simple RSI? Possibly it's going to reverse, right? What do I see on the ASO? A lower high, possibly, right? I need a clear signal. So I see weakness here. Okay, no worries. So what I'm going to do right here with you. So I'm going to move that away. So right now I'm interested to go short. I'm going to go target that area down here. So what I usually do, I open a 10x position. This time I'm going to go in because I'm not sure, right, how strong that is. I'm going to go 20% of my capital, right? And I'm going to click the second green on the order book, and then I'm going to press sell short. And now immediately the exchange took my order to go down, right? And you know, very, very small. I did this now for practice, right? I'm not interested in shorts, to be honest. I'm interested in longs, right? You know, I am on the support trend line. I'm expecting things to get better and get higher, but I just wanted to demonstrate, you know, when I do my strategies and my indicators, how I plan and how I enter with the interface, how quickly I do it. Right, I do not enter manually the price. I just go in with 20% of my capital. 20% is okay, right? How much is 20%? 20% was $368, right? Okay, why is that? Because I got 1,500 inside on that wallet, right? So, you know, very nice and quickly. And let's see how far will it go. I mean, we're going to wait for that stochastic RSI to come down here, RSI to come down there, and see, you know, price action respecting this area. I'm going to find some resistance here. I know that. And then the next resistance will be around these areas, right? So I don't expect to come all the way down to that support trend line. But, you know, until we find another nice entry for long, right, maybe we have a nice opportunity to have a small short trade here. And I'm just going to follow it, right? I'm just going to follow it a little bit. This is just a simple example how I use the interface, right? Remember, the high time frame, like the one I was telling me today, I'm looking for longs. But if you go super zoomed in into the 1 minute, you know, in order for you to have one single 1 hour candle inside, if you zoom in, you got multiple waves going up and down, right? So let me print that more nicely. So this is your 1 hour candle. So inside that 1 hour candle, you got thousands of minutes going up and down, right? So, you know, this 1 minute ride is that little tiny bit over there, right? So I'm trying to get a good trade within that 1 hour candle and see what can I make today with, like, with a 10x leverage. And you see that my leverage is stuck to 10x, right? I make sure that before I enter that is isolated. I have a long mark to 10 and short mark to 10. Doesn't, make sure that before you enter, you have these settings already up there for you. And you just wait a little bit and see, how fast and how far will it go. As I said, I don't have expectations for this trade to play out. It was just a demonstrating for you how I use the interface. So let me go back into the 3 screens. Here we are, 3 screens. The 15-minute is telling me again that maybe we are overbought, maybe, right? 3 minutes is telling me that it wants to turn around. So I got the same signal from the 1 minute and the 3 minute. It wants to cross down. So okay, so the 3 minute is giving you a conviction that the 1 minute is looking to go down. It looks okay for the 3 minute, right? So 1 minute and 3 minute tell you the same story, that we're going to cross down. RSI is going to turn around. ASO looks like this is the top. All we need now is Bitcoin to behave and do a small wave to the down, right? What about the 15? The 15 is telling me that, you know what, yeah, I still got some time to go further up. So we may see a little bit action like this on the 1 minute, 3 minute, come up and then come down later on, right? Until the 15-minute will give me an indication that it wants to go down. As I said, when I look for trades, I look 3 time frames, and I want to make all 3 time frames aligned and to tell me the same conviction, the same story. Let me go back into the exchange and let me clear this up a little bit, and then I want to give you a small explanation what I look for. So the easiest I can draw, I want to give you a visual what kind of alignment we're talking about. So I'm going to put that circle here. Right, here we are. So let's pretend this is the 1 hour time frame, right? So let me clear the background. Can I put a text here? Yes, I can. Good. So let's pretend this is the 1 hour, right? Here's the 1 hour. Oh, it's inside the circle. Okay, good. Okay, not good because it's in the center. So I'm going to put a normal text here. So here we are, 1 hour, right? So this is the 1 hour cycle. Now inside that, the 1 hour, you got a smaller cycle. Let me make it a bit bigger. And let's pretend this is the 15, right? So I'm going to make it a different color. So let's make it red. And I'm going to put a little text there, and I'm going to say this is the 15-minute, right? And let's put another cycle in the middle, a smaller one, and this time I'm going to do a green one. Right, okay, so let's pretend this is the smaller time frame. Let's say this is a 3 minute, right? So what I'm after with this strategy is like the planets that go around in cycles, right? So you have, let's say, when the indicator is telling you that we reached the bottom and that we should be looking to go higher, right? So that RSI, the 1 hour, is telling you that we are oversold and you should be looking to go higher. So you expect now that the planet is going to turn up to the upside, right? So the stochastic RSI is going to go up, and the RSIs and the ASI. So you are on the bottom. So what I'm looking for, I need to make sure that the 15 as well is aligned with the 1 hour and also the 3 minutes. When you get all these 3 alignments, right, both of them heading to the same direction, but they're starting on the same point at the lowest as possible, you have a high opportunity to have, it's like all the stars are aligned with you, right? So you have a higher conviction that the price will go higher, right? The indicator's telling you this is the bottom. And the same thing happens the other way around when you're looking for shorts, right? So if you got the 4 hours or the 1 hour, which is the highest time frame, is telling you, you know what, we reached the top now. So it's going to be the other way around. It's going to be the opposite, right? So let me clear this. Let me clear this. So when it's going to be on the top, right, and heading to go down, you want the 15-minute as well to be on the top heading down, and you want the 3-minute to be on the top heading down, right? So you want to have the SRSI, right, on the 1 hour having the early signs of cross down. And then the 15-minute, you should have a cross down already happen, right? And the 3-minute is going to give you multiples. And remember, the 3-minute, it's like the hour on the clock on the watch, right? This is the hour hand, this is the minute hand, and this is the second hand. You know, the second hand, it goes like 60 times around the circle for the 1 hour to turn around, right? So 60 seconds, yeah, well, 60 seconds, one rotation of the seconds, you get 1 minute, right? And then when you get 60 minutes, which is a full rotation of the minutes, and then you get a small movement on the 1 hour. So you understand that the 3 minutes is the one that moves faster. But you need to make sure that everything strikes like Big Bang on 12 o'clock, right? So everything is online at 12, and then this is when you have the bell ringing on you, and it's telling you it's time for you to go down, right? And it looks like it's going down. Here we are. Okay, so I need to be careful now. Why is that? Because already stochastic RSI is at the very bottom. Do I panic? Do I exit? No, I don't exit. I don't panic. All right, we don't FOMO. Why is that? Because you need, price action to speak a little bit and give some room for you to have a trend line, right? And why you don't panic? Simple. I mean, I don't need to change the windows. Go to 3 minutes. Click the 3 minutes. What does it tell you? We just crossed on the 3 minute, right? RSI just reversing and it's heading down. Okay. What about the 5 minute? 5 minute is looking good, right? So you got 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes telling you that we're going down. You got 3 time frames telling you that we're going down. So most likely it's going to look good. Not to worry about that. Right. So how much we are? Just 4%. It's nothing major, nothing super big. I mean, yeah, here's a little window, 4%, right? What's my P&L? $14, right? What's my leverage? 10x. You have everything here, right? 4%, and I got $14. I'm gonna let it go all the way down and see how close can I go to that trend line. It won't go there, to be honest. I mean, I'm gonna see some rejection here around this level. So it's gonna be 1.1%. So that will be on the 10x, that will be 11%. Right? And I'm doing a silly short now. We know that the market is going to go higher, right? So, I was supposed to focus on longs and not on shorts, but so far, it's looking good. What about the 15-minute? The 15-minute is telling me that, we may delay a little bit as a 15-minute. We may delay a little bit, and then it's going to
Sorry,
come
ik
back
ben
later
even
on.
meeting ik hoor in het bek. Ja, ik kan sturen dat. Ja.
Okay.
Ja.
En dan zouden die een andere API's, die Quadcom.
Someone's microphone is open. I'm gonna. I'm
Twee
gonna
rollen.
close-
Ja, zo. Ene keer is steenparken en de andere keer.
Okay, I got that down. No worries. I apologize for that. Right. Okay. So here we are. So you just now spend a little bit of time, right, and wait a little bit for the price action to go down. Now, this is not, as I said, it's not a great example, but it's a good a good practice, all right? How we do things. What do you look for? you know, the trend is up. You can see that we keep on printing, you know, high lows, right? So this is not a great example of me going short now, but I'm taking the 1 minute advantage here. And, you know, ultimately what I want to make sure that is when I get all the time frames that I'm looking at to be aligned for longs, right? And a couple minutes ago, that was a good alignment to go for long. So, you know, in order to go up, you need to come down like this, right? It's going to do little waves and then it's going to come back and break structure. And then, you know, later in the day, we're going to see that long plane along, right? It's going to play quite well. But in the meantime, you know, can I take little trades and have fun and make small percentages? Like, you know, if you can do 5-6 trades, couple hours, spend your morning practicing your theory and, you know, your strategy and the indicators, you get used to it, and then you are fighting your FOMO, right? So the more you practice, the more you battle down with your emotions, right? The emotions will have no more grounds to grow because you're practicing and, you know, you see the indicators, you trust the indicators. Now, indicators, I've said that many times. Indicators are lagging indicators, right? But let me clear that. Sorry. Here we are. Okay, clear the noise. So lagging indicators, they are lagging. Why? Because they are delayed. Why? Because they need the data to calculate, right? So they need the price action, current price plus the previous 15 candles, so to say. Doesn't matter which time frame you're looking for. It's looking for the previous 14 periods. Why is that? Because the Kashgar RSI is on the 14 length. RSI is on the 14. So no matter what time frame you're looking for, if I'm now here on the 15-minute time frame, it's looking for the past 14 candles, 15-minute candles, for me to give me a value, right? But when people have struggling, you know, they struggle with how to read price action, the real-time price action, and they get frustrated. Oh, it's going up. Oh, it's going down. Oh, is this a high, or is this a high low? I mean, what is this? I mean, you know, you get confused and you don't know if you know, a lot of people forget to zoom out a bit and see the bigger picture, right? And they say, oh shit, I missed it. Yeah, it's not short, right? If you're looking zoomed in this area, only in this area, what do you see? You see a high, low, high, low, high, low, high, right? So you see a downtrend. But if you zoom out a little bit, then you get the wake up call and say, hey, hold on a minute. Have a look at this one. High, low, high, low, high, low, right? So this is a major uptrend on a high time frame. Yes, you know, on a high time frame, it is an uptrend, but it doesn't go in a straight line, right? It goes in waves. So you got primary waves that are going up, and then you got the small retracements, smaller waves, bigger waves, smaller waves, bigger waves, smaller waves, right? You can trade either one, but preferably, if you're in an uptrend, you don't want to ride the bigger waves, right? The longs. But yeah, I mean, shorts, you can do it, but just make sure that you see the whole picture, right? Don't get sucked up only 1 minute and 3 minutes and you forget about the higher time frames. Do like a scouting, see where you are, where you stand, right? It's very important. Okay, so this is a 15 minute. Let's have a look. The 15 minutes still has a little bit more room. What about the 5 minute? 5 minute, it's fine. It's still downtrend. What about the 3 minute? Still downtrend. Okay, cool. What about the 1 minute? 1 minute, still there. You know, remember the 1 minute is faster, right? It's like the second, you know, the second hand on the clock. It goes way faster. It goes up and down multiple times. You don't get scared because it reached the bottom. Oh, this is the time for me to exit. No, we're not scalping, right? We want to ride the waves. So your target is to go as low as possible into this area. So technically, you're going to have this kind of trend line, you know, roughly. So as long the price action, even on the 1 minute, does it print? Let me zoom in here. So let me make it a bit bigger for you. Do I get on the 1 minute? Do we get, right? This is a high, right? Follow the price action. comes down. This is a low high. That's a low low. Is this a low high? Maybe do I get a low low? So if you keep on getting low highs and low lows, right, you are scheduled, right? And you can do little lines. I said, okay, where's my last high? That's my last high. If that price action breaks that high, right, that will be like danger, right? But you know, as long that the next candles they're gonna print lower lows, breaking this area here. So here you are, right? So this is the area that you're looking for. We say, okay, I'm price action now. If I'm looking for short, what I want to make sure that that candle goes and breaks the lower one, not the higher one, right? I'm not going to panic right now. This is the 1 minute, so I'm not going to panic yet, right? My true panic will be not panicking, but you know, the point of invalidity, so to say. My trade will become invalid when and if I'm going to break this high, right? Because if that happens, remember, we're supposed to be looking for longs, right? If that price action breaks above, technically, what does it create? High, right? And then it's going to come back, and maybe it's going to give me a high low, which is this is a high low, right? You understand why I said that this short example, it wasn't a good one, but we did the practice for you to see what's the method that I see the time frames, I see the indicators, then I go to my exchange, and then immediately what I do, I hit the numbers instead of me typing the numbers. So I gave you an example how I do it, right? But be patient, right? Don't panic. You have the point of invalidity. So I can say that from this point onwards, it's invalid. So I can make it red, right? So here it is. If you break that, it's like technically you put a stop loss there, right? So let's put it here as short position, right? And technically this is your stop loss, right? And my target was all the way down here, right? That's why we do microstructure and we put lines. Technically, this is my stop loss, right? And if it gets triggered, I'm gonna, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna drag that line above, and it's gonna create my stop loss. So here we are. I'm gonna put that there. And if you break it, it's gonna come automatically. This is how I do, you know, as easy as possible, right? With the exchanges and the tools. You know, I don't put numbers. I just drag the bars. If it's gonna break it, it's gonna break it. It's only gonna be like 0.27, so that it will be equal to 3%. Not a big deal for me. 3% is fine. All right. Anyway, it wasn't a great example. Here it is. So my stop loss kicked in. So I've saved. I'm saving with the 3% damage. So anyway, I wasn't expecting that trade to go all the way down. Remember, it's a long day. I mean, like a green day. So we're looking for longs. That was my major support. Do I chase it? No, I don't chase it. Why? What do I want? I want to make sure, right? It goes up, comes up, goes up further up, and then comes back into a support, right? And if it wants to continue, I would like to enter to a new low. So I'm going to wait for that, right? Now, don't be discouraged about that trade we got kicked out anyway. Was meant to happen. Remember, I was looking for longs today, right? Yesterday I entered long here, I got exit here. So today I was supposed to wait to come back to the support and then re-entered here, right? So that will be my opportunity to go long from here or as close as possible to that support. So I'm gonna wait for, I don't know, a couple hours and see if I get a chance to come back here, maybe. If not, then I'm gonna wait for a new high. I come back to retest the low, and then we're going to return to go for a new high. That will be my entry. A missed entry, so to say. But that's the ideal entry. That will be the second chance entry. It's not bad anyway. I mean, you're looking for intraday trades, couple hours. Right, so here we are. And also, you know that my entry was only 20% for my capital. So that 3% that I lost, it wasn't 3%. It was way, way, way less than 3%, right? Because I did not enter my full capital. So that 3% is if I divide it by 5, yeah, I think that's right. If I divide that 3% by 5, that will be my real loss from my capital. And yeah, not a big deal. I'm not even worrying about that. We're gonna make up on the next one. Right, let me see if we get any questions. What's the win rate strategy? About 75%, 75% in a month. Explanation of ASO. Okay, I'll do that. The order blocks, right? The high value order blocks can be seen on the 15, because if you follow the microstructure conditions, you spot them on the 4-hour. You spot the change of the direction of the wave, right? So that's an order block area here. You see that on the 4-hour, but you go into the 15-minute to refine, right? And if I have an order block there, just for this instance, and I know that I have all this huge momentum going down, I need to mark the opposite color. So this is red, right? It's short, it's going down. Pink in my instance here. So I need to mark the opposite, which is the green to you or to others, blue to me, right? So that is my order block. Now, if that order block has a gap, a distance between the third candle, because that order block is number 1, the right next to it, the pink one is number 2, and the next pink one is number 3, right? So if I have a gap between 1 and 3, then I'll mark that as well. So that is my fair value gap. So I know in the future, right, when price action is going to come back to these areas, I know that it's going to bounce, right? It's got a high possibility, around 80%, that it's going to bounce, right? So if I go long later on today, let's say that's going to come back into these areas and then get a nice opportunity, I'll target that area here, right? So I'm not going to do scalping. I'm not going to do these, right? In and out, in and out, in and out. I won't do that. What I like to do is trying to ride the waves. The full wave comes down, a new full wave comes down, and then maybe a new full wave. But that will be my final target. I know that when it's going to reach to this area, we're going to have some trouble, right? And then we're going to see later what was going to happen. I need to see how it's going to react to these areas for me to take my next action. Let me clear that. Here we are, clear that. Right, okay. ASO. Okay, let me bring in the trainer view. Here we are, trainer view. Indicators. ASO is the average sentiment oscillator. Is only one, right? Average sentiment oscillators. If you type ASO, the initials, you're going to be fine, right? ASO. And it's going to be like this. Now, the settings for the ASO, it's simple. I don't touch anything on inputs. The style is up to you. Use the same colors that you have for the price action. So I got blue for the positive, the top one goes higher. And I got pink for the price action that goes down. You can use your own colors. Try to match it with your price action. Now, what does it mean? How do you read it? I mean, you know, a lot of people, if you're trying to find an explanation on the internet, you're going to see that a lot of people are paying attention on the cross, right? On the crossings. That is telling you when the shift of the mentality of the market, of the price action is happening, right? So what is the pink? The pink is the negative number, and the blue it's the positive, right? So when you have the red above the blue, right, and it's rising, you're going to see the price action, right, dropping down. The price is going to come down. When you see that is reversing, right, that is the point when the price is going to start moving to the opposite direction. So this way I pay attention on the reversals, right? On the reversals, and I'm waiting for the reversal here. This is what I'm waiting. I'm not waiting for the cross. The cross, it's a good event. It's a confirmation about the reversal, right? But for our strategy, for my strategy, the cross is too late. I need to see an event before that. So I need to know, I mean, you know, when you get a reversal on the red one, it's telling you that the price actually hit the bottom and now it's going to turn around. So this is the price action hitting the bottom. This is the indication of the ASO. When you got the blue now hitting the top and reversing, you know that the price action hit the top and then it's going to go down, right? ASO is a very solid indicator. It reads the waves, right? But you know, it's a bit lagging, but it's there. And let me put a vertical line. And ASO reversed here on the vertical line, RSI reversed here on the vertical line, stochastic RSI here reversed on the vertical line. Guess what happened to price action? Right? It reversed. I see a hand here. Miss Missy, good morning.
Good morning, Thales.
Hi.
Hi. I just wondered if you could. Sorry, I'm not right well, so I'm really struggling. The RSI. If you could explain a little bit how it marries in with the ASO. It's just that it always seems to be in the middle a lot. And does the middle line make a difference, or?
Okay. Now, for you to get a higher conviction on any token, it doesn't matter what's the token, for you to get a good conviction, it's what I found is that you need to have okay, let's do a small explanation about the RSIs. All right, what are the RSIs? Let's do a very quick explanation. The RSI is indicator that measures the momentum, right? So if the RSI is turning up, forget about the red one. I'm gonna close the red one. I'll tell you why. So I'm gonna close it in, right? So this is the main RSI line, right? The blue one. So it's telling me that the momentum is picking up, is going up, right? The higher it goes, it's like the temperature, right? The higher it goes, more hot it is, right? So it's building up steam. So it has a huge momentum. Now, if we pass the 90, which I have the band, instead of 80, I have my band on 90, which is more extreme. When you go up to 90 or close to 90, right? When it's going higher and higher, that doesn't mean that is you don't start thinking of you to reverse your strategy, right? And say, oh, it's going to the 90s, it's going to go down now. No, this is wrong. It can stay up here to 100, right? It's still telling you it's very hot, right? It's very, very hot. So you don't think about you reversing, because that RSI can stay here for a very long time. I'm trying to find an example here. When we had an extension period of the RSI, here we are. Look at how long the RSI stayed above the 90s. So if you took that point and say, oh, we're on the overbought area, let's start selling, you can be doomed, right? And let's have a look on the price action, what happened in these areas. Look what happened in the price action. You got the first touch on the top of the RSI when you reach around here. And look how long the RSI stayed on the top, and look what happened to price action. So if you decided to reverse your strategy because of the RSI reach the 100, you're going to lose that. So you need to be extra careful how you're going to read this. And the only way that I found that you can read this It's when you have a reversal losing that high area. So you need to wait for the cross down. So let me bring now back my indicator, the red one. So what I'm looking, let me maximize that. I'm looking for the cross down that indicates what? Indicates that it's losing the momentum and it's dropping below, right? On the same time, now this is where I'm going to answer your question, how it gets, aligned, or why it has a relationship with the RSI. The RSI, the simple RSI, is exactly the same theory behind, but has a different formula, right? When it's at the very bottom, it's telling you that it's oversold, right? But because it's still going down or stays down, that doesn't mean you should start reversing. You should only start reversing when the RSI is reversing, right? So how can I combine these two? With a simple strategy. I want to make sure that when the stochastic RSI is crossing down, I need to make sure that the RSI, it is not here, it is not here, it is not here, it's not here, is as high as possible. And the same way, when the stochastic RSI is doing a cross up, I'm looking for the RSIs to be at the very bottom. I ignore anything in between. This is my optimal target. I need to make sure that either are very high and reversing or very low and reversing, right? It can happen that you can have something in between. Okay, not a strong conviction. It can happen, right? You can see that. Goes up, then reverses, and then goes up, then reverses, goes up, reverses. It goes into waves, especially in the smaller time frames. It goes like crazy, right? But you don't care. You ignore that. It's like extra noise, and you're going to filter that out. And you need to make sure that the RSI are on the extreme edges when the stochastic RSI is giving you the signals. So this is the combination now. When you have a cross up or a cross down the stochastic RSI, make sure that the RSI is on the extremes, right? And when you're going to find these opportunities, RSI cross down, RSI on extreme going down, look where that is, around here, right? And then ASO is telling you, you know what? We reached the top around here. It went down, it came back a little bit, but it could not pass that much, right? It was like a small divergence when the indicators are going down, right? When indicators are going down and price action is going up, what do you know that is? Divergence, right? And who's going to win? The price action or the indicator? Always remember, the indicator is going to win. So if the indicator is telling you it's going down and the price action is going up, it's going to be a bearish divergence. If the indicator is telling you that it's going down, the price will follow, right? So remember that when you see divergence, the indicator has a priority. If price action goes up and the indicator is going down, remember that is going to come down crashing, right? This is where a lot of people get trapped.
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense. That definitely that's really a good explanation.
Good. So, I mean, you can have RSI in between, but they're not high value. So if we mark, right, the ASO and stochastic RSI and RSI, mark the areas where on the extremes, right? And let's have a look at another extreme down here. Right, and we have another, I mean, you can have another extreme here. You have a reversal as high as possible. It did not go above 80, but it was very close. Reversed, ASO reversed. Look what happened to the price action. It's more convincing. It's giving you more strong waves after these signals. But if I take this signal, let's do another color. If I take, I'm going to make that as a green. If I take these, or cyan, if I take this signal, stochastic RSI is at the very bottom, right? RSI is reversing. ASO is telling you this is the bottom. What happened afterwards? Not dramatic wave. Just went up and down, up and down, up and down, very slow. right? Not a hardcore, so to say, price action. A bit boring, right? So that's why we prefer RSI. We need to be on the extreme highs or the extreme lows. Then it's giving me, right, and giving you higher chances, higher probabilities, because this is what we're looking for. High
Yeah.
probabilities, right? You cannot be certain 100%. And my risk management on this strategy is to make sure that my entry is like partial. I'm going in with 20%, right?
Yeah.
I enter with 20% of my capital on a 10x. It's fine. Now, if I get, let's say, a higher high and then goes a higher low and then wants to move up and breaks my structure, when it breaks my structure, I may add another 20%. Why not? Right? As long as it's breaking my structure. Pay attention to that. It started from here, it goes all the way up, right? It comes down and say, okay, nice retracement, but you don't know if it's going to stop there, right? So it's reversing. I said, okay, it's looking good. Goes up here, and then it fails. To me, it's an uh-oh moment, right? It did not break my structure. I'm like, there's no continuation here. I do not add money here. But when it returns and breaks my structure, right, it comes down and retest it, I say, okay, I have a high chance. And then when it comes back, it does not retest, right, and goes further down, I say, okay, here we go again. Uh-oh moment again, right? It doesn't give me any strong signal that it wants to go higher. So what that 20% entry, it's just fine, right? I'm not going crazy. I want to make sure that my entry are solid. Why do I need to keep capital? I'll tell you why. Because if you get distracted and you made a mistake that you don't pay attention on the, because this is now 1 minute and 3 minute time frames. You're supposed to only take trades for 1 or 2 hours, right? So if something goes wrong with you, with your trade, and you missed it, a phone call, you went to the toilet, you went to make a cup of tea, right? You just went out to the garden for XYZ reason. The door knocked and it's your courier, right? And that happens, right? To come right on the right spot when you're trading, and they keep it, they having your conversation, and price action is moving. When and if it gets against you, right? So that's my entry, goes up and then comes down and prints a low high, a low, right? And that will be trouble for me. And then comes back, prints a low high, and then comes down and then prints another low. So I got remaining capital to correct my mistake that did not exit earlier, that I did not see the danger, right? So when do I exit? Well, I have to see how far does it go, where is my next level? I said, okay, where's the point of failure? Well, most likely it's going to come down, it's going to come back, right? And then, if you still believe that this is going to be a fake out, right, you need to see how much is the percentage. And then you're going to decide if you're going to DCA. I said, okay. But you don't need to DCA when you are minus 10%. This is silly, right? For you to DCA, you need to be very solid, like minus 80% on the margin, not on the profit and loss, on the margin. Where do you find this? I need to enter a trade for you to see. So let's pretend that I'm going to enter a trade again, just for the sake of the example here. So I'm going to do a 20%, right? And I'm going to take an entry, whatever. Open, and I'm going to go for long. So I'm going to press the red ones. I'm going to go long. So I'm going to buy long. Here we are. So immediately my order got executed. No problem. Now here, let me zoom in. Can you all see here? So even that I just started it and I am in profit, I am not in loss, right? No, I am a bit in loss, but anyway, minus $2, fine. But you see, look at the margin, it's 25% already, right? And if you put your little mouse there, it's going to tell you how it calculates that, right? And it measures the position risk when it's equal to 100, the position will be deleveraged or liquidated, right? So when I'm going to reach that to 100, well, no, I'm not going to let it go all the way to 100, but when I'm going to go all up to 80, then I'm going to start DCA. but I must be very strong with my TA and make sure that yes, I know this is a solid support. I see Bitcoin that is moving to the up. I just made a mistake. I missed the timing. I got distracted and I should took the profits, but I didn't, and then in reverse on me. But if I get a strong conviction that it literally is going to go up because Bitcoin is going up, and obviously the whole crypto market is going to follow Bitcoin, then maybe I'm going to think like how I'm going to evade that mistake, right? It's like, you know, the story that I said when I was in the submarines, that our worst enemy is another torpedo in the water, especially from a submarine, because the submarines can hide in the water. So we need to have tactics to evade these such events, like a torpedo in the water. So, you know, when the trade goes against you, it's like a torpedo in the water. So you need to have cash to evade it. So if it goes lower and lower and your margin goes up to like 80%, then you can double the amount that you had. So if my 20% right now equals to, where's my margin? $365, right? I need to enter another $365 to bring my average by 50%, all right? Now, if you put higher amount of money, you're gonna DCA even harder, like not 50%, maybe you're gonna do DCA 60% or 70%. However, that means you don't have enough remaining cash if the market still goes against it, which in that case, you should take the loss and say, hey, I'm down by 5%, 10%, whatever that is. Maybe should I, you know, close it? You know? Or, you know, you're going to do that a couple times. You need to practice a lot how to DCA. You need to understand exactly how to DCA. But, you know, if I'm on a very strong horizontal lines and the market decides to do a stop loss hand or trying to target liquidity pools and I have cash, I usually DCA, right? And what happens? Let's pretend, let's give an example. What happens is, let's pretend that I wanted to go, that would be a nice example. That was your last high, comes down and gives you a low high, right? So you say, oh, all right, okay. You get a conviction that you think it's going to go down, and then you decide to go down, and then the market decides to go against you, right? And then it's targeting that area over here, so the liquidity. So depends the position and your leverage. You need to see, you know, how much, right? That price action that goes south on you, but how much is affecting your margin. And then when you get the warnings and you know that it's going to go down later on, right? And then when you get the warnings that your margin is hitting 80% and stuff like that, then what I do, I DCA, right? And I'm going to bring my average, right, around in between. If I put the same amount of amount of money that I put, let's put $200 here, and then I enter another $200 there, my average will be here, right? So when and if later on that price action is going to turn around to my favor, right? From this point onwards, I'll be in profit from here and not from there, right? I'll be profit from here with double the position. My original position was 200, now it's 400, right? So I'll DCA to evade liquidations, right? But I need to make sure that the margin is worth it for me to DCA, right? Don't try to DCA when you are 10% on your margin or 20% on your margin or 30% on your margin. Trying to go as high as possible, right? Flex it. Anything around 80, 85. Deploy the DCA amount. And that will give you an average, right? And you can correct and evade a liquidation, and then it's going to come back into your favor, and you're going to be sooner in profit, and then you're going to make more profit on in the end, right? Because you have a larger position. That's why I make sure that I do not enter at first, right? More than 20%. 20% is fine. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. You're welcome. But yeah, if you don't know how to DCA or you're afraid of doing DCAs and stuff like that, just close the position and accept the mistake and say, okay, I've lost at 3%, and I need to make sure that my next trade will be correct, and then my next trade will be doing better and will cover the loss of the previous trade. Stochastic RSI and RSI settings, default. I don't change the settings, right? Input 14, length 14, that's it. The only thing that I may change sometimes is the bands, the upper and lower levels, but it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any difference, right? It doesn't affect the values. Same thing with stochastic RSI. Everything is the same. 14, 14, 3, 3. Right? Nothing different. I don't change. I keep things in stock. Right, okay. After all, that little short trade was playing out, right? It gave us finally a low. They just went for a small stop loss hand. It's fine. It's okay. To be honest with you, I don't usually put stop loss there because I have my DCA tactics. You need to have always a risk management protocol, right? Always. So either it's going to be your stop loss or either it's going to be your DCA tactic, but you need to have cash. If you don't have cash, just your stop loss. Take the 2% hit, 3% hit, and then take another trade with higher convictions, right? I'm not worried about this little trade because I know overall, I'm in long, right? So this is a long position anyway, so I'm not that worried. So, and eventually later on it will go higher, right? On a higher time frame, this is what I care. This is my low, higher low. Possibly this is a new higher low. All I want now, a high, right? The other one was just an example. Right. Yeah, this is the kind of strategies. Now, someone in the weekend was looking for the screener and how to find tokens that's going to give you a high conviction that maybe it's going to be ready to move. I'm going to do a small demonstration. So I'm going to go back into the trading view. So let's bring trading view up. Right, here we are. Let me clear this noise. Bye. Okay, so on the top, you have the plus button, which opens your new tab. And before you go to the layouts, you have a screener tab here. And then you can choose crypto pairs. And once you open the crypto pairs, it's going to give you all the tokens, like I don't know how many of them, like millions of them. I think overall in the crypto space there are over 2 million tokens out there, so be careful. I'm using filters, right? And then here's my filters. I've selected Twins Short. So what I've done with Twins Short is I'm looking for the stochastic RSI. Can I zoom in? No, I cannot zoom in on this one. So I have some conditions. So stochastic RSI fast has to cross down the stochastic RSI slow, right? So the blue has to cross down the red one. And that's the one of the two conditions. The second condition, I need to make sure that the slow, right, is either equal or above the value of 80 of the stochastic RSI. So let me give you an indication. So what did I say? What did I ask? I asked that I need the screener to look at. Let me do the markings here. I'm looking for a cross down, right? That's a cross down. That is a cross down. That is a cross down. When the blue, which is the fast one, cross down the red one, which is the slow one, right? But the second condition that I ask is I want to make sure that the red one is above the 80, right? So it's going to give me only the cross downs that happen from the 80 and above. So if that cross down happened here around 29, the screener will ignore that. That cross down that happened on 34 is going to ignore that. It will only give me any cross downs that's going to happen above the area of 80. So that's why we got these two conditions, right? So fast one has to cross down the slow one, while the slow one is equal or above 80. Now this is about the stochastic RSI. And because we're using the twin strategy, I need to put the RSI, the simple RSI. And I'm asking for the simple RSI, right, to be at the beginning at least halfway. And then I can narrow down according to the matches that I have up there. Give me 1 second, guys. I get I've got one message on the phone. So the second the second part of the strategy is the RSI. So I need to start at least with 50, and then according to how many matches I have, and I want to narrow down, and then I trigger with my conditions, right? So I may want to make the slow RSI to be more stricter, and I want to be higher than 80. Maybe I want to be above 85 and see how many matches it's going to bring. Now for 48, it went down to 40. Yeah, I think again it's too many. So what I'm going to do now, remember, we would love to have the RSI onto the extreme. So if I'm looking for a cross down, where do I want my RSI? As high as possible. So let's move the 50 to the 60 as higher. Okay, 17 matches. What if I go to 65? 5 matches. Okay, that looks good. What if I go to 70? 3 matches. Okay. What if I'm going to 75? The higher the better. 2. What if I go to 80? 1. Okay. So now you see, just change a little bit the numbers. You narrow down your results, and now you have move USDT telling you that maybe there is a possibility for a short opportunity. I say, okay, let's have a look, right? And also make sure on which time frame you're looking at. This is the D1. When you have the free version, I think you only have D1 as an option. Me that I have the paid version, I can change that to other time frames. But let's say for these high time frame convictions, D1 is telling me this is ready to go down. Okay, let's have a look. Open up the move. Let's have a look. What's going on with move? What a terrible chart that is. Very, very choppy with huge gaps. I'm going to close that chart immediately, right? I do not trade this. And to be fair, let me go to the daily. Let's have a look on the daily. Oh dear. That doesn't make sense. There's a lot of price action down here, and then we have the huge gap. Yeah, I mean, I don't trust this kind of price actions. Let's have a look. Yeah, no. Let's go to 4 hours. Right, okay. So, yeah, on the daily, here's the conditions. This is why the RSI is telling you that, you have a cross down above the 80-85. The slow one is on 87. So that condition is met, tick, right? Where is the RSI? 85.18, tick, right? However, now, this is not enough data for me to take this seriously, right? Even if I go to smaller time frame, the smaller time frame, the 4-hour time frame is telling me that the stochastic RSI is at the very bottom. RSI is still high, right? So what do I expect from the 4 hours? Remember, the 1 hour, one daily candle has 6 4-hour candles, right? So the 4 hours is more slower. It's telling you that it's at the bottom, so maybe it's going to push up a little bit, maybe for a few hours, and then it's going to come back later on. So the daily and the 4 hour is not convincing. What about the 1 hour? 1 hour is telling me that is a terrible price action. How come you have a closing here, right? You have a closing here, and the next opening is down there. No, not even there. The next opening it's up here, and then comes down. No, that's terrible. That's not. I mean, look at these huge gaps here. That doesn't make sense, right? You have a closing here, and then suddenly you have an opening over there. No. You move away from these kind of price actions and tokens. It's rubbish. Not tradable. And especially when they've done this kind of correction. If I zoom in here, scale down, that could be a token that it was in DEX, right? And it moved into centralized. But look at that, it's terrible. Even back then, it's terrible, right? To get these spikes, it's quite good, right? As profit-wise, but it's manipulation. It's giving you 200 and 220% in 1 hour, but by the time you see it, by the time you enter, you're going to be burned. Don't even bother. This is terrible tokens. So you go back to the screen and say, okay, I need to lose off a little bit my filters. I'll say, okay, let's make sure that stochastic RSI is on 80. Let's go a bit lower. Do we have any tokens? No. Okay, let's bring down my stochastic RSI. Let's find something more decent. SNFT, no, I don't like that. By the name of it. What about 70? No, none that I know of. 65? None I know of. Okay, so I'm not convinced. What about if I do the opposite? Twin longs, right? So twin longs, what's the conditions here? It's exactly the opposite. Stochastic RSI fast this time has to do a cross up, right? It's at the very bottom and we're looking for a cross up. While the slow one, it's equal or below 20 this time, right? And then I got 123 matches, way too many. And then RSI, halfway, 50. And then I'm gonna minimize it. Remember, we need to be on the extreme low. So what if I'm gonna bring that immediately to 20? How many returns do I have? 3, okay. What about 25? Do I get any decent? I don't recognize any of them. Zoo Race NFT. Okay, beef. What about 30 on the daily? You have to be quite careful which tokens you are selecting to play with. 35 XRP against Bitcoin. Okay, you can try that. Okay, so the daily, it makes sense. I mean, you know, on the daily, the market is all messed up. Bitcoin's all messed up, so it doesn't come up with any solid results. Let's do the 1 hour and see if we can find any longs. So let's go twin longs from the beginning. I don't want to save any change that I made. 147. Okay, so let's minimize a little bit and say stochastic RSI. Let's make it down to 20. Okay. No, I recognize 25. I don't recognize any of them. All right, it's okay. I'll just grab one. Wall Street memes. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to trust memes, but hey, let's have a look on memes. There's a high volatility, 13%. Okay, let's have a look. Just for the sake of it. And see, on the 1 hour, it's giving us an indication that it wants to go long. So this is the 1 hour, right? So here's the price action. Right, and the 1 hour, you can see that, you know, the indication, the triggers is telling you that, you know, it wants to cross up. RSI want to cross up. ASO is not ready yet. It's not telling you this is the bottom yet. And what do you see? Price action, right? I see huge wicks below. There must be a resistance going on here, right? Like a support is like a rejection area. Do I have any price action to the left in the history in time to see where I can have any? No, I don't. So this is new lows for this token. What about the 4 hours? The 4 hours telling me that it has more room to go down. Yeah, so that's why ASO, you see, it just crossed, right? And it hasn't reversed. So ASO is telling me, yes, the conditions for the stochastic RSI and RSI are quite low. They haven't reversed yet, right? ASO still not haven't reversed. So ASO is telling me that maybe we're going to see a small down move until we get the ASO turning around, and then you're going to see RSI turning around, then you're going to see a clear cross up, and then maybe you have an opportunity to go higher. But how much? Let's measure that. Up to there, 9%, 10%. No, it's not bad. If you do that at 10x, 10% move times 10 is 100% move, right? What do you know about this token? It's a Wall Street memes, right? I think when it first started, it was doing quite well, and then everyone dumped on it. So that's why price action is going down, keep on going down. You see, when it first started, it pushed all the price up, and then it was a bubble. And then after that, it's going, you know, it lost, you know, all these levels, right? So do you trust this kind of project? Maybe not, right? So don't go blind with a screener, right? I mean, screener is going to help you. I love it. That's why I gave it out the strategy how to do it. But make sure that you are entering on a solid project, right? If you don't want to use a screener, use your list. Let's say I have this list, and what I usually do, let's go to the 4 hours, or maybe, yeah, 4 hours will be fine. So I'm going to use super, right? And I want to see my indicators, right? RSI is not on the extreme highs or lows. Where was the last time that it was on the extreme highs and lows? Around this area. That was very low cross up. RSI very low. ASO reversal. So that was a nice example for me to go in. Anything, you know, anything above that is in between, like RSI is between, not really. Another good opportunity was down here, right? As low as possible. That was another opportunity, right? No, these ones. So you know, you're watching what's going on, right? So that was support and resistance. That was a resistance, that was a support, that's a common ground, right? So that was a nice entry, right? That it wasn't a clean extreme. It is a support, it is what it is. It's not extreme. ASO, not a clean one. So yeah, yes and no. TIA is a good one, right? DO, have a look on DO. All right, okay, people want to join and they cannot find it. Okay, let me fix this. Let me see if I can fix this. Let me give them the invitation. So let's go to Discord. Someone was late, so they want the link. So here's a link for the Zoom. So let's do that. Excuse me about that. I just got a message from the back office that people want to join and they don't have the link for the Zoom. So anyway, so it's so here we are. Here we are. Right. Okay. Cool. That's done. Sorry about that. So yeah, go down to the list and have a look on the higher time frame that you're looking for. If you're looking for the long-term trades, you're using the daily and the 4 hour. If you're looking for the intraday, then use the 1 hour or the 15-minute, whatever strategy you use in the time frames. But at least you use 3 time frames. So if you want to use the 15-minute, so to say, right? You had a nice opportunity here at the very bottom, extreme bottom. ASO was reversing, so that was the bottom, right? Again, it's coming down to the extreme. RSI is not that extreme, but it's quite low. You cannot ignore it's 30. It's not in the middle. It's not 50. It's 30, right? And ASO is reversing. So maybe, this is the good entry, and this is the second class entry, right? The late entry. Better than nothing, right? If you want to trade DIO today, Veracity, and also I just say that on DIO. Let's have a look on DIO. Zoom out a little bit and see what's going on a high time frame. What kind of trend is it, right? And say, oh, okay, it's a downtrend. Should I go for longs? Well, you need to get a conviction. What kind of conviction? You need to have low, if it's a downtrend, you need to have low highs, right? Low high, low high, low high, low lows, right? That's your low, that's your low, low. And then this is the, oh, look at that. Is this a new, like a block structure? Is this a new high? And this is a low high? Possibly. Is this a high high? Maybe. This is a high low? Maybe. So this could be a point of reversal, right? What does it mean? It means that it's breaking your trend line. Go back to the basics. What does it mean? There is a possibility, right, on the smaller time frame that it wants to break the trend line. Right, so let me put that there. Right, so let me put that over there. So here we are. So there is a possibility now that it wants to break the trend line. So you get your early signals by doing the TA. So you zoom out a little bit and see, okay, what kind of trend is it? Is it sideways? Is it downtrend, uptrend? It was a downtrend. Okay, so it hit the bottom. Okay, we got the signals. That was the bottom. Okay, no worries. On the 15-minute. What happens afterwards? Okay, it prints a high, right? So that was your last high, low, low, high, low, low. Okay, so it broke structure. Okay, I can see that. I'm targeting the high before the pivot point, right? That was the pivot point. That was my previous high. This is the area that I'm targeting. It got broken. Okay, now it came down. It's giving you this new low, which happens to be high from this one. I said, okay, now this is half of the 4-point system. If someone knows me back from the school, I got the 4-point system. The 4-point system is indicating you when you get a reversal. We get half of it. We got a high, a new high, and we got a high low. What we need next is a new high, a clear high, right, and a clear high low. When you get these 4, like 2 times of higher highs, right, and 2 times you get a higher low from a downtrend, right? So this is a reversal pattern. When you get 2 of these, right, which is the 4-point, 2 and 2, 4. So when you get the 4-point system, right, it's like a 3-point, turn when you're driving, right? So when you get the 4-point system into the chart, there is a high possibility that is reversing, right? When you get complete, nice looking 4-point system, it's the beginning of the reversal. So maybe DIO is reversing. If Bitcoin behaves today and gives the alts the chance to move, maybe this is the beginning of reversal, but need You need to get a clear signals. I mean, look at these huge candles, right? We need to get more clean signals. So mark the areas on DO. You know this is a support. You know this is a new support, and see what's going to happen. So okay, listen, this is my low, this is my high. For me to get a conviction, I need to break this and then come back and retest it. Fine, as long as you stay above the trend line and you want to reverse later on, that's fine, right? So get a clear conviction about DO. This is how I do it every day, right? I go through my list and see who's ready on the time frame that I'm interested to trade, right? You know, this is an order block. A push, a huge momentum, not a continuation. You need to have 3 full candles, not just one single candle. You need a good, solid 3 full candles, at least 3 candles with momentum, not just one, right? To have a nice, solid order block. But you can see that, you know, when price action came back to this area, you see that it got kicked, right? See that wick there? So if Bitcoin behaves and that price action stays here and then comes up, you need to break this nice and clean. Maybe you have a conviction of reversal. Otherwise, you carry on. Go to Veracity, there's a downtrend, 0x0, huge downtrend. Look at that. Bleeding ultra downtrend. You can see that, right? Senate 8. Senate, it's a gaming. It was a downtrend, maybe is reversing. You see, again, is reversing, maybe, right? So technically, this is your trend line, right? So this is your trend line, right? And this is your pivot point. Right here is your pivot point. That's your last high, and it got broken, right? That high got smashed, goes higher. So, you know, that maybe is telling you on the 1 hour that, you know, it's reversing. It's printing, it's keep on printing high highs and high lows, right? Is it ready yet? It's gone, right? Have a look on the indicators. If you don't have time to do trend lines and market structure, blah, 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 what you need to do, just look at the indicators. What the stochastic RSI and the RSI is teaching you, right? Very bottom, ASO, very bottom, and the same thing happened a little bit earlier. Just the door run. Give me 1 second, I need to open the door, but here it is. Number one, number two, number 3, number 3. You got 2 indications, right? Double bottom. What happened? Shoot to the up. Give me 1 second, guys. Start meeting summary with AI companion. Decline. I don't want the AI know what I'm doing here. I don't want the AI not to know my strategy. Not yet. No. Only my people here. Right, okay, here we are. So yeah, I mean, if you don't want to spend a lot of time doing TA on every single token, you just use the indicators. They're going to pinpoint straight, I mean, quite quickly. I was going to tell you. That's why I came up with this idea, right? Three indicators will give you the idea, especially on a higher time frame. But intraday is fine. Solana. Well, but oh, look at that. Solana hit the fair value gap, right in the middle. Oh, okay. That wasn't basically the middle of the fair value gap. What it was an imbalance. I found an imbalance inside the fair value gap, so I was expecting to come down here. It touched that imbalance and shoot, it goes up. Lovely. Now, is this a reversal yet? Right? Look at that. I mean, if I zoom out completely, you can understand that Solana is an uptrend, right? On the larger scale, on the bigger picture. But, you know, price action doesn't go always up in one line, in one direction, right? It goes into waves. So it goes up, correction, and then it's going to carry on. Right, okay. So this is my local downtrend. Is this broken, so to say? You zoom in a little bit. This is the 1 hour. So here we are. That's the pivot point. That was my last high before the pivot point. Did that got broken with a body? Always that's the trick. With a body, yes, it got broken here. That's the body that broke the structure. Okay, so after that, what do you have? You got high highs, high lows, high highs, high lows. So, you know, Solana reversed. And it's giving me a sign of weakness. That's for the time being. It's not the end of the world. What do you see? You see a high, and then you get a low, and then you don't have a high, right? You have a high low, but you don't have a high. So this is like the first moment. What's going on with Solana? But you need to wait a little bit, right? Don't jump into conclusions. Otherwise, you know, even when a high time from like 4 hours, you can see what's going on. The 4 hours, it gave you a nice signal straight away. Here it is. Very bottom, RSI at the extreme, ASO reversed. Boom. Here it goes. You don't need to do the TA. You don't need to do market structure. You don't need to do the trend lines. When you're scouting in the morning on your list that you have here on the right, the tokens that you have a watch out list, maybe the things that you are in trade, in sport, maybe things that you don't trade. I mean, anything. Just build maybe like 30, 40 tokens that you want to look at, right? Have 10 in AI, have 10 in layer ones, have some in layer twos, have some in NFTs if you trust NFTs, have some in gaming, have some, you know, different narratives from the market and see, you know, which tokens are moving, right? This week, keep an eye in the Solana ecosystem, right? Very good news for the ecosystem of Solana. There's a lot of fash going on about Solana, so any tokens under the ecosystem Solana may perform very well in the next coming days. Right, so yeah, I mean, this is what I do. Oh, look at that. I mean, this is extreme low. What about the RSI in the middle? What about the ASO just crossing? So this is not the perfect spot, right? Only one indicator was telling me this is the bottom. The rest of them did not. So you ignore it. You just go carry on. You come back next day for it. Beam, no. Gala, no. Right? Cedars, no. Rose, no. Bonk, no. Pyth, neither. Fetch, no. Right? AR, no. You see how much time you spend? Minimum. That is on the long term. This is the 4 hour and the daily. But if you want to go into intraday and say, hey, I need to make some money now, let's go to 15. That's a different story now, right? And you're going to have a look on the 15 and say, okay, what can I do? What can I do? Another little trick that I do, another little trick. Come on, let's bring the tricks up on the table here. Oh, what about that trade? How does it go? Oh, we're in profit. Okay, cool. Thank you. We're in profit. Nice. I'm not going to worry about that. CoinGecko. Go to CoinGecko. My little guy here. Yeah, right. CoinGecko. Now, go and see the tokens have the largest gains or the tokens are trading, right? You can do a little trick by that. Go to view more gains and see which one is gaining a lot, right? Left gainers, right losers. Okay, I don't know that. Kitty, I don't know Kitty. Right, you're gonna see some funny ones here. Can I narrow down into top 100? Yeah, that's better. Top 100 or maybe top. There's no 200. Top 300. No, I'll do 200. That's okay. 100 is okay. Top 100. And you've got CFX by 9%. You've got Manta by 3%. IOTA 2%, right? Sui 2%, right? Tia. Here you got the ones that are moving to the upside. And then on the other side, you have the ones that are moving to the downside. Mantele, MNT, BTT, which is BitTorrent, Bonk, STX, they're going down, right? Depends the marker, what's the marker is doing Bitcoin, let's say. I mean, you have a look on Bitcoin, what does it do? Does it go sideways? Does it go up? Does it go down? What does it do? And if you find tokens that are going on the same direction with Bitcoin, so you can align. If Bitcoin's going down, look for the ones that loses. If Bitcoin is going up, then look for the gainers, right? You need to be aligned. The last 24 hours. What about the last 1 hour? Let's minimize that. I'm looking for intraday now. What Bitcoin is doing? Let's have a look on Bitcoin. Cash flow. Remember I have the cash flow chart? Let me bring that up here for you. All these little 6 windows, right? Let's go back to 4 hours. Let's have a look what the market is doing. All right. Okay. A bit sideways. Dominance sideways. T1, nothing interesting going on here. T3, nothing interesting. I mean, this European session today, they're doing nothing. Give me 1 second, guys. I got a phone call. Sorry about that, guys. Wife calling. I always answer that phone call. So yeah, I mean, look what Bitcoin's doing. I mean, the last action that you had on Bitcoin was uptrend and then doing sideways. We got stuck on 42,337 for the time being, right? So it's going up and down in this area, sideways. So then you can see which which tokens are you interested with. Like Chiliz is going 2%. Manta, Injective, Tia, right? You can play with these kind of tokens and see which one is moving, even for the past 1 hour, right? Because we are doing intraday. So Chiliz is moving a lot. Okay, let's have a look on Chiliz, for instance, right? Let's go and do Chiliz. Let's go and do it Chiliz. Let's bring this indicator up. Here we are. Chiliz, GHZ, right? Doesn't matter which one it is. Perpetual. We want perpetual because we're going to do leverage. So here it is. We got a nice solid, nice wave. Not bad, not bad. Well, that's what we want. We want nice solid waves. It's tradable, right? It's tradable. This is the 15-minute. Okay, let's go to high time frame. 1 hour. What kind of conviction we get? Okay, here we are. Not bad. So we had a good conviction. This is the lowest. All right, so that was the lowest on the RSI, right? Stochastic RSI here, ASO is telling me that was the bottom. All right, okay. So now the 1 hour is telling me that we are approaching, right? What did I do? I just pressed spacebar and went back to my other. So here we are. So let's go into 1 hour. Here we are. So the indication that we have now on the 1 hour that we need to pay attention, right? I need to pay attention in this huge week, a huge sell-off week, right? And also RSI is going to the high. Is this the extreme? No, it's not the extreme. So it is not yet a reversal point, right? So ASO just crossed, right? Not even, the blue one hasn't reached the top. So watch out for this one. Wait until it gets as high as possible. In which areas? you can do a little TA now. Oh, I see an order block there. Blah, 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 blah. Here's my order block, right? Easy. Do I have a gap between number 1 and number 3? No, there's no gap. It's exactly the same size. So there's no gap. So here's the order block. So there is a high possibility for chilies. So you're going to do a setup later, right? You're going to wait a little bit to come up here, and then you're going to look for down, right? For that time, RSI maybe is going to come back again, second time, get across down. Maybe RSI will be reached the highs, and then the ASO is going to give you the blue. That is the time for reverse. And then you should look for a short opportunity. If chilies is on a downtrend, which is not, it's an uptrend. Lovely. So what are you going to do with that? You're going to bring a trend line, right? It's very important. Zoom out a little bit, have a look at the big picture. So, okay. Either, no, I mean, it's too late now to chase. You're not going to chase that. And that was the bottom, right? So either going to take a small trade to come down to that trend line, but you're not going to stay for long. You're just going to ride a little wave that's going to come back to that support for you to go long, right? Why? Because high highs and high lows, high low, high low, high low, right? I mean, the highs are not that great. I mean, you got a low high, and then come back a high, 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 and then low high. Possible a low high, but then eventually, you know, you're going to wait when it's going to break the structure. But until then, you know, when it's going to happen? I mean, you know, you assume, right? I mean, this is uptrend since the January the 8th. Why do you expect now to break? You don't, right? You say you're going to keep on respecting the support until, you know, unless Bitcoin's going to crash, and then everything's going to crash. So until then, you take it things, you know, while you have conviction, this is uptrend. You don't try to predict that it's going to break the trend line, is going to go down, and you're not trying to outrun the market and say, hey, you know what, I'm going to be the first one to reverse the market. No, take what is given to you, right? If he's telling you this is an uptrend, you're looking for longs, period. Simple as that. When you're looking for longs are the best entries, where are the best entries? When all the indicators are telling me so. Okay, I missed that, no worries. I've got a small opportunity to come down until I get the second chance to go higher. Right, okay. Does that make sense? Is everyone okay with that kind of strategy? Let me know in the chat.
Yeah, thank you. That were really good. Thank you, Phils.
Okay. Let's have a look. Right, okay.
Alice, can I ask a question, please?
Yes.
Hi. Yes, thanks
Hi.
for. I've been following that over the weekend and really trying to, and a few times I've done exactly what you said and looked at the 3 minutes, the 5 minutes, and the 50 minutes, and I've seen they've all aligned or near enough, but I'm struggling with my entries. I just seem to either miss it, it's gone, and I should have done something then. What way is there a way? I don't know if this is a silly question, but to kind of alert me that it's at that point, or do I just need to keep watching it?
Well, if we're gonna do intraday, like the 15 and 3 minutes, 1 hour. Let's do the 1 hour 3-5 minutes. I mean, let's bring the other window that I have here. Here we are. So this is my 3 window setup, which is the 1 hour, 15 and 3, right? So I have this window, so I don't need to go back and forwards all the time, right? You don't need to keep on switching time frames. So if I'm interested, because this is intraday, I want to make sure the 1 hour is telling me what sort of the price action, what does it doing? Is it uptrend or downtrend? So it's telling me this is an uptrend. Okay, it's an uptrend. So I'm looking for higher possibilities of longs, because I know the long waves, right? The up waves are way bigger than the down waves. That's a big wave, that's a small wave, right? That's a big wave. That's equal. I mean, big wave as well, but not as such. Give me 1 second, guys, because people are calling me from work. 1 second, guys. Hi. It's all right. Okay, got chat. Right. Okay. So yeah. So I got that conviction that it wants to go up. So I'm looking for long opportunities. Right now, into the intraday, if I get the right time, depends what time you work out, what time you open the charts, what what the market is giving you at that time. You're looking for these opportunities. Now, the one I was telling you, the big bucks is on the uptrend. So, okay, you're looking for a long opportunity. So you're looking for these indicators to give you as low as possible, right? So here's one. I mean, very, very quickly, this is on one level. Like you can see that is reversing. That is reversing. It's not at the extreme low, right? But, look at what the 1 hour, since January the 23rd, this is a lows of the stochastic RSI. The RSI never went below this level, right? It was keep on bouncing from this level of 35, right, on the 1 hour. So you can see that, even on a smaller time frame, you can see that it's bouncing from here multiple times. So this is your lowest level, right? So all you have to do, Jane, I mean, don't overcomplicate it, because maybe you trying to make a super alignment, right? All three at the same time, exactly on the same time, right? And maybe that's the problem that you may face, in that you keep on missing your entries and you don't know what to do, right? But just take the price action as simple as possible. I mean, that was the closest to the support, right? So here's the support. It's that area here, and it's that area here. All these three lines are exactly the same, in the same area. And you can see that by the cursor. If I change the colors of the cursor, let me change the color, not canvas, and I'll put a yellow and make it a bit brighter, and I'll do the same thing here. And I'll do the same thing here. So if I put the cursor here, right, you can see all the verticals on all time frames, right? Here it is.
Mm,
Exactly where the green line is,
yeah.
right? So if that helps you have a strong color on the cursor, use the 1 hour, and then you're going to see which area you're targeting, right? If I target this area, where is that on the 1 minute or the 3 minute, right? It's here. So I say, okay, on the 3 minute, this is like an order block, right? It goes up, breaks the previous high, goes up, comes back for retest that order block, and then carries on. So if you find this order block that is keep going up because it broke the previous structure, then you expect that it's going to come back at some point, and then you get your second chance. You can do that as well, or you can wait until the indicator is telling you to do so, right? And it's telling you, I mean, this is a lows, RSI is very low, ASO is very low. So that was the area for you to enter. And then you're going for longs, because the 1 hour is telling you we're going up until further notice, until you get the break of, of the trend line. So far, it's respecting the trend line. So you cannot look for shorts unless you have strong indications from Bitcoin that it's going to go down. So far, Bitcoin doesn't look yet today to go down. It's going sideways. Maybe it's going to go down tomorrow. In overall, I know on the weekly chart and the monthly chart that Bitcoin needs to go down, but it's going to, it's not going to happen right now because I said it so.
Yeah.
I know that on the weekly, I have indication that it wants to go down, but the weekly chart to play out, it needs weeks. That's why it's a weekly chart. So until then, what can I do? You look on the smaller time frames. So I respect this trend line. Okay, this is a major support, so I'm looking for longs. Simple as that. So what kind of conditions do I have for longs? Cross up, RSI as low as possible, and ASO when it's reversing. And that's the best chance. If you didn't get that perfect chance, and then you come back to the same area, to the same level, based on the market structure, then you get a second chance and then you move up. For how long you're going to stay? You're going to stay there until it breaks your trend line. So let me clear a bit of the noise. What kind of trend line? Well, it's a 1 minute, 3 minute, right? So you're going to pull that trend line up there and you're going to take your profits. You know, you're going to start from here all the way up to there. If you missed it and you get a retest, lucky you. And then, you know, you're going to have from here, I'm going to put somewhere in between, and I'm going to put in somewhere in between. So you've got 1.1% move. And that is on the 10x, it's 11%. And you grabbed your first 11% for the day, and then you wait for another trigger. You wait for another indication on the smaller time frame and say, okay, can I ride another wave? You see that even that the stochastic RSI is at the very bottom, even that the ASO, it was indicating at the very bottom, RSI was like in the middle, like 50s. And you see there's not a clean wave, right? Look the angle, how steep that is, and look how flat that is. You just wait for the right moment, right? You don't expect to overtrade because you had one single trade in the morning. It doesn't mean you're going to find another one straight away. You're going to wait for a couple hours until you get the, you know, the good conditions,
Yeah. I
right?
think I've been doubting myself because
I think you do. I think you do. This is a problem that you know that you see it, but you don't take it because you doubt that maybe you don't see it right.
yeah.
You start from the left on the 1 hour and you see that it's an uptrend. Okay, I have this. I don't need to go back to the 1 hour now. I know what the 1 hour is telling me. Uptrend. It's not going to change that anytime soon. It's going to take hours for that to turn around to give me a different story. So when I wake up in the morning and have my coffee, the 1 hour already told me the story. Hey, we're going up. Okay, thank you. You come back to the 15. The 15 is telling you, okay, within that 1 hour, this is not the right time for you to go for long, right? That was the right time for you to go long.
Yeah.
Or maybe that time was the right time for you to go long. Right now, you're in the middle of the wave. Okay, I have to wait. Then you come back for the 15 to give you a nice conviction. When the 15 is going to come back, right, and say, okay, that is looking ready, it's cooking, right? Maybe that's going to come back here. So when you get the red ASO telling you this is a time, when the RSI is telling you this is a time, right? So you probably get a new high low. This is your low, high low, and maybe you get a high low. And then in the 1 minute or the 3 minute will give you a nice clean shot for you to enter. And that is the opposite blue. This is the blue. And we're not looking for the blue events, we're looking for the red events. So here's the, let's say, good solid information. I mean, that's not the best one, but hey, I mean, look, with the 1 minute is as low as possible, right? You don't need to be always on the extremes, but as low as possible for that current time frame. So here was one. As low as possible, as low as possible, as low as possible, boom, it goes up. And then it goes a bit against you. Remember, you have some extra cash, your DCA. You increase your position and then it goes higher. You always have extra cash just in case that the market's going to play against with you. You don't go in with 100%. I go with 20%, right? And then if I took out my profit because of the trend line, fair enough. If I didn't, I got distracted and then it goes down. On the next level, I'm going to add more, and then I'm going to reverse. I'll make sure that next time I don't make the same mistake. And then the higher it goes, I make sure that I put my trend line, and when it's going to break my trend line, you can put an alert. You can put an alert. You can put a trend line and then put an alert on the trend line. When price action is going to touch or cross down that trend line, give me an alert. And then it's ready for you to exit. But anyway, I mean, this is a very small time frame. It's not going to take very long. But let's say that you want to go to the kitchen and make a sandwich, or you want to cook for lunch or something. Just put a trend line and an alert on it.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't doubt yourself. If you see it,
To do it. Yeah.
pull
Yeah.
the trigger. All right, pull the trigger.
Fire.
Yeah, fire. That's it. I mean, because this is our very, very small time frames, right? So it's not going to give you immediately a second chance. So you're going to fire it and you're going to trigger it, and then you're going to come back in an hour, right? Even let's pretend that I got this entry here, right? So here it goes. goes all the way up. You're still lean, so to say, right? Let's pretend that you're still lean. How far you are in? I mean, let's measure this. So let's pretend that you got it somewhere here, right? And so far, you are up 1.5 times 10. That's 15%. How long did it took? Let's measure that as well. Where's my little ruler here? So let's pretend that you got it here, and up to there is 3 hours and a half, and you got your 15%. I mean, nothing great. I mean, nothing dramatic, but it is what it is. I mean, 15% is 15%.
I do that every day. It's good.
I mean, if I put an Excel sheet, because the other day I said, you got multiple strategies, you got multiple ways of doing this, right? You can do a 5% per day. If you do that 5% per day within 20 days, you're going to double your account. And to be 100% true to you, it's not going to be 20 days. It's going to be less. And let me explain why. Because in numbers, let me clear this. So let me look at the single window. We have more space on the single window. Here's a single window. So you see its release is going up. Cool. We wait for that order block and see if we're going to find another short opportunity. So the numbers are what? I mean, if you target 100% per month, if you divide it by 20 days, you get a 5, all right? Simple months. And then you say, okay, if every day I target 5%, do it for consistently for 20 days in a month, I can double my account. But let's put the numbers in reality. So the first day I start with $100, right? So I won my 5%. So now I am 105. The next day I start with 105. If I put my 5%, well, now it's not 5. It's 5.5, right? It's like $6. And then the next day I'm going to start with 111, right? And if I do the 5%, then, the number is increasing. So you're going to double way before 20 because your capital is increasing. It's not a fixed number anymore, right? The percentage, it is a fixed number, right? But your capital is not because you're compounding, right?
Yeah.
So it's not a clean math number like, 5 times 20 equals 100, so 20 days is going to be like double. No, you're going to double way earlier. But I wanted to give you a pace. Like if you do a 5% for a month, right, you can double your account. It's not about the compounding. The compounding is going to help you to hit the target way before 20 days, which is brilliant, right? It's better to do it in 2 weeks instead of 3 weeks, right? But the target for me giving you these numbers is for you to have a very nice, simple target per day, which is achievable. You can achieve a 5% per day easily, right? Easily you can achieve 5% per day. Now, if you do this strategy with indicators that I show you now, right? You can do like 30% per day easily because let's do an average from here. You didn't catch the very bottom and you didn't get out. Let's take that. That is 8% move, right? And let's pretend that you got out because of the break of the trend line. So you exit around on that red big candle, you got exited, right? So that is roughly 8%. On a 10x, that's 80%. One single trade. And it took you from here to there 13 hours. Less than a day. Right? So if you can do 80% in 13 hours and a half a day, 80%, it's like you just almost double your account within one trade within 1 day. Forget about the 2 weeks. And as a small little target that you can have, it's 30% per day. If you can manage 5% per day, that is a slow pace, times 20, right? In 3 weeks, you can double your account. Now, if you want to be more adventurous, target the 30% per day. And that means, strict numbers, you can double within 3 days. But again, if you put the percentage as a fixed number, it equals 3 days. But if you compounding, it is not 3 days. The first day you need 30%. The next day you need 20%. And the day after you need around 12%, right? If you do, no, that's terrible. That's not even 12. So here it is, around 12, let's say 15, right? So if you do 30, 20, 15 within 3 days with compounding, right? You're going to double your account. If you want to put just a target as a goal target and say, hey, today I only need 30%, only 30%. If you do that with 3 days, you double your account. I promise you're going to do it way faster if you're compounding, right? Because you can double with 30, 20, 15, easy, right? So small targets. Don't go for the 100% per day. Don't do that, right? Because it is not achievable. You're going to overtrade, you're going to over leverage, and then you're going to get wrecked. The markets, they can turn around very quickly.
Yeah.
Right. So target the small ones. So if you know this is, the sentiment of the market is uptrend, go for longs, trying to get as low as possible to the support trend line. Where's the indicator? I mark that area. What the indicator is telling me? It's telling me this is a cross up happening here. Okay. RSI wasn't at the very best. ASO was telling me this is the bottom. Okay. 2 out of 3 indicators agreed. Also, I am on the support trend line. If I go to the left, you have a better quality trigger, right? A cross up happening from here, right? RSI at the very bottom, ASO is telling you this is the bottom. Boom. In you go. Right? That is your good entry, and that is your late entry.
I think that's where I've seen the good entry and I've missed it. I've seen the second entry, but I've questioned myself because the RSI wasn't right at the bottom. I think I've been missing the second entry as well because the RSI is kind of in
the middle.
Yeah.
It's in the middle and doesn't give you conviction because it's not the extremes. Because the best signals is when the RSI is on the extreme side, not in the middle, right?
Yeah.
But if it's reversing, it's reversing. It's not a high quality signal, but it is what it is. I mean, you cannot ignore that. I mean, this is the very bottom. RSI is failing to go lower. You see, it's struggling, cannot go in lower. You find a support there, and then you got the ASO telling you this is the bottom. Also, you have the trend line. It's telling you that you hit the support. So you've got multiple things going on telling you, hey,
I think that now I understand that. I think I'll be more confident in taking it. I'm going to do it, Alice, this week.
Good.
I'm going to do
it. Do it today.
Today.
Right? Yeah. I mean, like today. I mean, don't put pressure on yourself. I mean, do it, and then because as soon as you do it, right, it doesn't matter if you make a mistake. Go in with 10%, right? Get the pressure off from your chest, and instead of going with high position, just go with 10%, right? Enter with 10%. You're not going to lose a lot of money because if you're going to get stepped out with 3% stop loss, if you're going to use a stop loss, it's going to be 0.3 on your capital because you're only using 10%. So your stop loss, the 3% stop loss, literally is 0.3% of your capital. No damage.
No damage, yeah.
No damage at all, right? Not even a scratch. So, I mean, you use these kind of strategies, right? And use this technique for you to get used to it. Once you get used to it, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine because now you put the emotional side aside, so to say, right? You are de-risking yourself. You have very small position. You're using the same strategies, and then you keep on practicing. The better the more you do, you keep on practicing, the better you're going to get. And then when you're going to become mechanical, you're going to do this with your eyes closed, so to say. Then you don't worry about going with higher positions. Okay, this time I'm going to increase my position. I'm going to go 20%. Simple as that. The reason that I'm going with 20% is why? Because I need to have cash to counterattack or counter steer my attack from the market. If the market decides to go the other way around, if they're going to do a liquidity grab, right? So let's say that it's going to come down, it's going to come down for the liquidity grab, and then it's going to come back, and that will be a major fake out. Only then I can have a tactic for me to evade. That will be, you know, the torpedo in the water for me. For you, because, you know, it's quite risky and it's tricky as well how to do the DCAs and how you do the numbers. What you can do is just say, hey, I'm going to have a 3% stop loss. Simple as that. Or, you know, I'm going to put my points of invalidity. In which point things will get invalid from here, right? So let me do the line. So I say, okay, this is my lowest low. If you break that trend line or that horizontal line, that's it, end of story. No questions. You broke my previous low and you're printing the low, what does it mean? Break of structure. You're not supposed to break a low on the uptrend. If you break that, that's bad news. And then you can cancel your trade with minimum losses. You know, you need to see things as soon as possible. Act as soon as possible. Don't let things run forever.
Yeah, okay.
Right, and on a smaller time frame, it's fine. And find a token that has nice, lovely waves. Chiliz. Here's Chiliz. Nice little wave. Remember that I said that I'm not going to chase that. I'm going to wait and see when it's going to turn around. And look at that. It's failing to print a high so far. Yeah, okay. High, low, high, low, high, low, high, low. No problem. I got all my high highs. This is the first low high. This is the moment, right? So maybe it's going to come back down here, maybe, and then we're going to target that order block. And then after that, it's going to come back. And then you're going to have 1 wave, 2 wave, 3 waves, 3 trades. Can you have all these 3 trades in one day and manage to gather 30%? Fine. Can you have a 30% in one wave? Even better. If you gather your 30% in one single trade per day, you are on schedule, and then you can just close down the computer and say, I'll see you tomorrow. I got my 30% today. And then you're going to target your next 30% the day after. So if you're going to do 1 trade or 2 trades per day, then you're going to wait for the perfect signals. What are the perfect signals? When the RSI is going to be on the extreme sides, as low as possible. I mean, look at that. You don't have RSI go lower than this point. This is on the 5 minute, right? So since the RSI is touching these levels, that will be the time for you to find reversals, right? So here's your condition. Any time the RSI is going to touch that yellow line on the 5 minute, when the condition applies on the stochastic RSI, and ASO, here's a signal. Boom, right? 1, 2, 3, here it is. It's here. That was a signal. RSI is printing high highs, high lows. High highs, high lows. High highs, high lows. Now it's going to fail to print a high high. It's going to print a low high. And that will be a divergence, right? You can see that the price cannot pass the previous highs. So maybe we're looking now for a down direction. Do you want to trade it? Not yet. Wait for that RSI to come up here if you want to trade it for short. ASO is losing that high. So maybe, yeah, you can trade. But if you're looking for Chiliz that is on uptrend and you don't want to get trapped, and say, hey, you know what? I don't want to risk it. I want to get a solid signal. So I'm going to wait for a couple hours, maybe minutes, couple hours, half an hour, until it gets here as low as possible. When the RSI is going to get to that yellow line, when the red one is going to be above and reversing. By that time, stochastic RSI will be at the bottom reversing. Oh, that'll be a good time for me to go long. Why? Because on the uptrend, the up legs are larger than the downtrends, right? Look how big that up leg is, and look at the correction, small leg. So you're looking for the higher probability, so wait for it. And what you can do, you want to wait, put a line or a box and say, hey, listen, this is, no, that's not a box. That's a box. So here's your box, right? And then add a trigger on it, an alert. Can I have an alert on my box, please? No, it hasn't been selected. Let me double click. No alerts. Okay, no alerts on my box. So what I can do is just put a line. You can put it like a trend line. It's okay. So I put a trend. I can't select the line. For God's sake, I'll leave one. So here we are. And use that line and add an alert and say, you know, when it's gonna cross in any direction, but let's say cross down, right? When you're gonna cross down that trend line on the 5-minute chart, right? When you're gonna cross that line, please alert me. So here's your alert now. It's enabled, it's active. So you can walk away, right? And then when and if that chili is gonna come back to these levels, right? Then you're gonna be alerted just a little bit earlier before that happens. Right? I'll leave that. I'll let that. We're gonna come back later on that one. So you know, you can look for another trade, or you can look for another chart, or you may come back later if you want to do only one trade on chilies. Fine. Or you can go into another token if you find another token that is ready. That is. Right? So what our little trade is doing, I forgot about that one. Okay, we're still in profit. Here we are. By how much? 9%. So still doing great. And he touched that order block, you see? Since he touched that area here, let me move that little box there. Since he touched that area, boom, it went down. It's okay. It's gonna come back. Why? Because I got a conviction on the higher time frame that we are on an uptrend. Has it broken my trend line? If I put my emergers in trend line, this is the 15-minute now. Has it broken my trend line? No, it hasn't. Okay, fine. Can I do a smaller time frame? Can I go into 3 minutes, please? Okay, here we are. 3 minutes. Here's a trend line. It's not broken yet. Now the 3 minutes is telling me that, you know, maybe it's time to go down, do a small retracement. Okay, fine. I'll wait. I have a high conviction from the higher time frame, so the 15 minutes, what does it tell me the 15 minute? Okay, overbought, but the RSI is not the extreme. Okay, I still have some more time. What about the 1 hour? The 1 hour is telling me there's more room to push. I said, okay, I may see a little bit of retracement and then it's going to push because the 1 hour is not even there. It's not yet there. Look when it gave you the signal that was ready to go down. When the RSI was on the extreme, when you had a cross down, look what happened. Boom, it went down. And that is without the ASO. Imagine if I had the ASO as well. Right, that's why I'm going back and forwards with the training view. You see, keep on pushing. No panic. Here we are. It's respecting the trend line. Well done. I hope so. We'll see. But nevertheless, we're still in profit on that one. Right? 8%. 8.7. 8.8. 9%. Goes up and down. Right, so, you know, in a couple of hours, you can have your 10%, 20% per day, 30% per day, easy. Easy. I'm telling you, if you get good at this, you can double your account every 3 days. I promise you. But you have to be very strict or very careful what you see. All right, make sure you do a like top-down analysis. Make sure that you see the higher time frame to tell you which direction the token is, taking. Is it an uptrend or is it a downtrend? Is it 25% of your account with 10x leverage? Yeah, not 10%. Yeah, 20%. I don't go 25, 20%. 20% is fine. 20%, 25% of my position, 20% of my position of my capital. So if I got $1,000, I go maximum like $200. What I usually do is, because I'm compounding all the time, every time I'm going at a trade, I'm just sliding the slide to 20%. I'm going up here and I just put it 20%. That's all I do. I don't dial any numbers. 20%. That's it. And then if I'm ready, if I want to go to the app, right? If I want to go long, I make sure that I hit not the first one, the second number from the red for the shorts, right? And if I do that, right? And if I keep doing that, you see immediately it executes my order, and now it DCA my entry. You see that's why the green line jumped to this, because it DCA'd between the previous entry with a new entry. My new entry is up here, right? That was my entry up there. That was the time that the order got executed. So that is my average, right? That's my DCA. So what I've done now, I've DCA on the way up, right? And I did this just to give you an example. So right now, I double my position from 300, what was it? 200 and something? To 265, I think it was. Now we are on 657. So I got $600 into that. So that's an example how to do this, right? I don't dial any numbers. I don't wait until it happens. All I do is I give an order for a price that is a bit lower for the current, and that way I make sure that my order gets executed immediately. I don't have to wait. It doesn't pass my line, so to say. I don't chase. Train is your friend, always. What position size do you use on the say trade? Always 20%. Now it's 40. Maybe a bit more, not 40, but yeah. So just keep on treating, just keep on treating high highs and higher lows. We're okay. Let's have a look on the high conviction. Okay, we are on a small retracement, kind of. You can see there's a lot of down pressure here, but it's okay. I have the conviction of the 1 hour. The first target will be here. I know that you're going to have trouble up here, so I'm going to wait until it gets there. And then, maybe I'll get off. I'll take the 50% of the position off. Not 100%, because I still believe that we are an uptrend. So eventually, later tonight, right, it's going to do something like this. It's going to keep going. And that's the area that I'm going to target next, right? Step by step. Here's the one target. Here's the another target. So how's your target number 1? That's your target number 2. That's your target number 3. And you take it slowly but slowly. If you have the courage to do so, right? If you want to do just in and out today and get 10% and get out of it and close the whole PC and leave, you can do that. Right, okay, guys. You take in entering market orders or limit orders. Oh no, I take limit orders. These are limit orders, not our specific numbers of prices that I'm entering. So this is limit orders, not market orders. And you see here on the top left is selected limit, not market. I don't take market orders, right? Market orders is an average. It's not the. It is not the. How to say? It is not the price that you are targeting. It's trying to find the next best. If it happens to be the number that you want, okay, you just been lucky. If not, it's going to take the average. If there's a high volatility going on, there's going to be high chances that it's going to be a different price, not the price that you wanted. Right, okay, ladies and gentlemen. I've been almost 3 hours here. Have I? Yeah, 2 hours and 40 minutes. We're gonna do another session maybe not tomorrow, the day after. So maybe I'll do it on Wednesday. Right? Maybe tomorrow I'm gonna do it later time. If I see any trades, I'll give it to you. Right? Even I'll say, or even on series, when I get, let's say, a good entry on the smaller time frame, I'm gonna post it. And most likely you're gonna find it under the trade setup. Good. Right, okay, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a good time. I hope you understand how to do the trading, how to do the top-down analysis very quickly. I use the indicators to save time, right? And I use the indicators for my entries. To clarify, do you wait for the price to hit the trend line? When I got which trend line? The high time frame trend line, like the green one that I have here, like on the 4 hour on the daily, that one there, or the trend line that I had on the red one for the intraday trading. For instance, right now it's hitting my trend line, right? So my question around is, will it break it, right? Or will it just come back above? Will it close above? I just have to wait, right? Anyway, I know it's going to come down. You see the indications on the, it's giving you a short. I've got huge wicks above, right? There's a down pressure here going on. So all that down pressure, all these orders that have been waiting to be executed at 100%, because this is not an execution of 100%. This is around 70. So we've got another remaining 30%. So I know that we've got a lot of pressure, order blocks, right? So I know we're going to have a down pressure. Then later on, when that down pressure is going to be released, it's going to come back again later on. By that time, the RSIs will maybe do something like this. Right? I'm not worried about that trade. I don't mind for the DCA. It was just an example for you how I do, how I add up, or later on, if I want to take a partial off, what I'm going to do the opposite, right? I'm going to select close. And then if I want to take half of it, and then I'm going to 50%, right? And because I'm going to close the long, right, I need to target the red one. So, sorry, I'm going to target the green one, and then I'm going to hit the red button. Always the opposite. If you're going to hit the red button, hit the green numbers. If you're going to hit the green button, hit the red numbers. Always the opposite, right? Open and close. This is how you close half of your position, right? And that's it. Right, okay.
Appreciate it.
No, you're more than welcome, sir. You're more than welcome. I hope that is more, clean and
It was awesome.
good. Right, have a good rest. I know you're in the United States. It's quite late for you, early hours in the morning.
It's worth it.
Right, okay. Is it recorded? Yeah, it is recorded. It's going to be like a 3-hour long video, but yeah, it is recorded. It's going to take a while for Zoom to allow me to grab the recording. I'm going to post that up on the Zoom recordings. Right, okay.
Thanks
Yeah,
so
it is.
much, Dale. Thank you.
You're more than welcome, and get well soon. All right, get some vitamins. What's going on with you?
I'm having loads, and yeah, the funny thing is, well, it ain't funny. My dog's just been sick on me and all.
Oh my God, that doesn't help.
No,
That doesn't help.
a sick dog too. Anyway.
Okay, everyone is sick there. Oh dear.
Well, you take care, Thales, and thank you so much. That was so helpful.
Okay, cool. We're gonna do that on Wednesday. I'm gonna keep on doing live trading, right? I
Yeah.
know that today I did a small explanation, but it's okay. We did 1-2 trades just to show you how to enter very quickly, because it is important when you're going to see me doing this. I don't want you to have like gaps. Oh, how did
Yeah.
you do that? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? So I'll rather explain this, and you're going to see that again on the you're going to see that again on the recording. So you're going to be
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. Well, we rewatched the recording, but that were
All right.
it was so much better. Thank you so much. Really
Okay. All right. You're more
Okay.
than welcome. I'll see
Thank
you
you.
guys on the Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Unless we're having something emergency, if we see something change in the markets, we're going to see what's going to happen. It's Monday today. Europe is boring. They don't do anything. Crypto moves on the US and Asia. The more fun. Then it is what it is. I mean, you know. Anyway, okay, guys, have a good rest, and I'll see you soon. Right? Take care.
Bye. Bye bye.
Bye bye.